Hey, how you doing, man? Got a few questions. First question is Keith Thurman, will Keith Thurman be an option for you guys right now? Is that a fight that you guys kind of will be looking into, or, a guy like Keith Thurman?
Like I said before, man, if Terrence ain't the names that he wants, like Pacquiao or Spence, and Keith Thurman's name came up on the chopping block or something like that, and money's right, I'm sure Terrence will fight him. I'm sure he will.
Okay. Now, let's say he does fight Patrick Teixeira at 154 and beats him. Will he consider defending the title at 154, or will he bounce around from 147 to 154, or?
He'll bounce around. We had talked about, we had discussed that, going up to 54, and then the next fight going into the next year, and then that Spence fight that happened, he go back down to 47.
Okay. And how much time do you think Bud has left boxing? Does he have a time slot? Like, I'm probably planning on hanging him up at this age, or you guys really don't know.
I really couldn't tell you, man. You know what I'm saying? Terrence so athletic and he stays in the gym all the time, and he don't take a lot of punishment in fights, man. So I really couldn't tell you, man. The way he moves around Omaha and the way he moves around the gym, it looks like he got quite a few years left in him.
Yeah, okay. And another question, you know how we on this conversation right now, having this conversation about Bud and boxing. How come Bud never comes on here and talks to the regular guys, the regular folks, the brothers? How come we can never get Bud?
You gotta ask Bud that.
I'll see if I can contact the actual, PR person and go through the avenues, because
her name is Julie, man. I'll send you her number.
Okay.
Her name is Julie. Julie Goldstick.
Julie. Yeah, I spoke with her, back in March, actually, over at the MSG Theater, when they were supposed to have that Shakur Stevenson fight, and Bud was there.
What's going on, you guys? So, as you just heard, Brian McIntyre, Bomac, the trainer of Terrence Bud Crawford, I had an interview the other day with him. Shout out to my boy, the Boxing Source, JR from the Boxing Source, for the interview. Be sure to subscribe to his channel. I got all that in the description for you. Be sure to check him out. For the full interview, he got the full interview over there. This was just my portion of it. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to have a chance to even, ask Bomac a question. I wanted to do more. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was a little nervous before I got my turn. I was a little nervous. It didn't seem like it, but I was. But this is interesting. This was really good. Terrence Crawford return day is looking like it's November 22nd. That's what Bomac said. Teixeira is looking like he may be a guy that's up next. So that'd be like the 4th weight class for Bud if he fights Teixeira. As you heard, he said that Terrence Crawford will be bouncing back and forth if he was to beat Teixeira. And, of course, Keith Thurman got brought up by myself. How long Bud's going to be around, and why don't he talk to the regular guys like myself? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't Bud come in here? I'm not one who really cares, but I just had to ask the question because I'm sure a lot of brothers want to know this. So I asked the question. I'm not afraid to ask the crazy, difficult questions, okay? Even though I'm a Bud fan, he's not exempt from getting asked the difficult questions, okay? I'm going to ask you some real shit. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, you heard me do so. It should be interesting, man. Bomac was a very good interview. I appreciate him giving the time out of his day to, talk to us, us smaller YouTube channels. You know what I'm saying? I'm really humbled by the experience, and I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like a lot of you, when you're making a YouTube channel, you got a smaller channel. Sometimes it just feel like you way in the back of the crowd, and sometimes you got to really fight your way to get up to the stage with some of the bigger channels to get some of the exclusive interviews and things of that nature. And I'm grateful for the opportunity, man. It was really cool. Bomac talked about his come up, talked about how Bud was like the little bro, and how he got into training fighters and how the struggle of training fighters and trying to get these guys across the country with a broken down car and all that. He talked about his struggle, talked about when he started boxing. Bomac gave us a lot, man. He gave us a lot, and I appreciate it. It was real cool of him. He answered all of our questions with no problems. He also spoke about Maurice Hooker and Enriquez Prograis situation. pretty much long story short, he said, if anybody feels that Maurice could duck the prograde, I'll take the heat for that because that was my decision. He said if it was up to Maurice would be training right now trying to make that weight. But he said he don't want to do it because he's been watching Maurice. He said Maurice is just constantly getting bigger and he'll be killing himself to make that weight at this point. So he said, nah, you better off for that little bit of money. You better off just forget about it, move on up to 147, and then you're going to thank me later. So that's pretty much what he said there. But he dropped a lot, man. There's a lot of Bomac said. I'm not going to give you too much here. I want to go check out my boy JR from the Boxing Source. Check out his channel. Be sure to subscribe and get an interview or listen, man. Bomac dropped some gems. He gave us some possibilities of a return date for Crawford, which is November 22nd. And it looks like it might be Patrick Teixeira. Pacquiao's, of course, is on the table, they said. They're hoping to get the Pacquiao fight. And, of course, they hope to get Spence by spring. If he gets past Danny, we'll see what happens. Tell me what you guys think. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.